Hello, it's Nicole from Empire English, and today I am at home. As many of you are at home in isolation because of the virus, I figured now would be a good time to explain my channel and to maybe give you some resources and tips for studying English. I know that many of you cannot go to school, many of you cannot go to work. Most of my clients are business workers or company owners or children, university students. The channel is actually designed for adults, but I do try to keep it kid friendly, and I try to make all of my content useful for all ages and anyone studying English. I actually spend a lot of time in South Korea. I'm from New York, but I travel a lot. So in my channel, I try to incorporate and share my travels with you while I am also teaching you English lessons, because I want to make English studying kind of exciting and interesting. I know that studying another language is so difficult and stressful. And I know that studying can be very boring. I totally understand that. I have been a teacher technically for 20 years, but I've been teaching English, like just English, for over 10 years. And I know it is very difficult to stay interested in studying English. That's why I made the channel. I made this channel called Nicole Teacher because everybody calls me Nicole Teacher. I had to choose something to focus on for my channel. You know, there are so many things that teachers can use to help you. And I decided to focus on common mistakes. That's not every video. Most of my videos are about mistakes that are commonly made in English. And I've been hearing these mistakes over and over and over again for many years. So don't worry. When you watch my videos and you watch my channel and you feel like, oh my God, I've been saying this all my life, that's okay. Most people do. Sometimes people don't even believe me when they hear this. Like, what? That's a sofa. I know that's a sofa. No, it's an armchair. So that's just a little example, one of many, many things that I'd like to point out just to help you spare yourself some embarrassment or some troubling mistakes when you travel abroad or when you are living in another country where English is the native language or the main language spoken. If you are making mistakes, don't feel ashamed, don't feel embarrassed, but you should try to be aware of the way that native English speakers speak, the expressions, the vocabulary, the sentence structure that can cause problems. So I mentioned this in my videos. Each video has one kind of focus. It's usually one expression or word that I try to stick to. But I also make videos about themes or topics. So for example, I have a video coming out soon about dating. I will later have one that's related to marriage and getting married. Basically, people make mistakes when they're speaking about these topics. And I try to add some fun personal images, photos of my friends. Sometimes I like to add personal stories. I also interview people from time to time. I like to interview my friends and talk about their professions or their very interesting experiences. Recently, I interviewed a fitness trainer. I also interviewed a hair designer, actually two hair designers, my favorite hair designer in New York and my favorite hair designer in Korea. I actually have many interviews lined up. It's just wonderful to watch a conversation and then I can show you the common expressions or useful expressions below. If I'm laughing, it's just because I laugh a lot. I laugh at everything. Okay, maybe not everything, but I never ever laugh at people who make mistakes. That's never my purpose. If you do see me kind of giggling or chuckling, I speak one language. I speak English. That's it. So if you are learning a second language, I admire you, and you have no reason to be ashamed or embarrassed when you make mistakes in speaking or writing. Yeah, you can try to avoid it, but you should not be embarrassed. If anyone does laugh at you, they're just terrible, stupid people, and you can ignore them. Don't worry. Don't hold yourself back from learning English because somebody might laugh at you. For the interviews that I do not highlight any mistakes, and I just try to share some useful English with you. For the topics, I have dating, marriage, nature, which was wonderful. I got to spend some beautiful time out in nature with my dog in New York, and it was just some gorgeous scenery. But I tried to cover nature. I might do one on weather separate from nature. I'm still working on that. I have one on adventure. We're actually going paragliding soon if everything goes okay with this virus, and the company is still open. I'm sad to see that many companies have closed down during this virus, but the paragliding company is still open, and we will be doing that along with some other adventures this spring and summer. I will be doing one on health. That is one that I will probably also touch on during interviews, but I will do a topic of health and one on body parts. A lot of people don't know the word wrist. So I don't know why, but hand, fingers, palm, and this is wrist. Arm, elbow, shoulder. For some reason, anyway, wrist. And ankle. This is your ankle. So body parts, yes, body parts. I already did one on skin. I will be doing a video on hair and then one on makeup for all of my viewers who like to use makeup and want to know the expressions to use. I will be doing ones on apartment and house and neighborhood, things like that. I have a lot of art students, especially in the past. I had so many art students in New York City. So I am actually doing a video dedicated just to art terms because that's very useful, and there are so many nuances or details about art that are difficult to figure out. Definitely doing a whole video related to work and jobs. I'm doing one about age. In Asia, I often hear the term senior as someone who's older. I'll explain that later, but anyway, senior does not automatically mean the person who is older than you in Western countries or English-speaking countries. I'll be doing cooking, shopping, animals, fixing, anything related to fixing things. I'm working on a video on trash, and you will see so many things about pollution and waste. We waste so much in this world with products. We just consume way too much, and you should recycle. So I will talk a little bit about that and push you to recycle. You will see my opinions come out in many videos. I have some pretty strong opinions. I try to understand and appreciate everyone's opinions, but in my videos, I let you know a little bit about myself and my thinking. Like the President of America, I have some opinions about that guy. Then I have the mistakes, and whew, I mean, there are so many mistakes. There's one about jelly. That's just a tiny little thing I did for fun. In the beginning of my channel, when I was first making my channel, my videos were not that great. My camera was an old phone, and I was just learning about video editing. Now I have a wonderful video editor in Indonesia. His name is Aki, and I love him. He is so great to work with. He understands what I want, and I want to keep it very simple for you. I want to keep my channel simple for you to watch and just learn the basics. I don't like to add very complicated, boring grammar lessons because you can find that everywhere. You can register at a language school and learn all the grammar terms. You can find it in so many English books. So I just like to keep the grammar terms out of it, except occasionally when it's necessary to add just the basic things like noun, verb, adjective, adverb, maybe pronoun, that type of thing. I am not going to promise a video every single Tuesday or whatever. I am going to post as many videos as I can. I hope I can do one every single week. I don't make money off of my channel. This is just to help you. Maybe someday I will decide to make some extra money off of the channel, but for now, I just want to help people. I don't want to keep track of all the numbers and like how much money, and I really don't want advertisements to interrupt my lessons with you. So if you see me mentioning some product in my videos, most likely I just love that product. If I ever do get money from companies for mentioning their products, that still means I love their product, because I will not ever recommend something to you that I don't know about or that I don't like. Please trust me. That's another video, trust and belief. When somebody says believe, they're talking about words or information. You can trust something or someone as a whole, like their being, but I'll explain that another time. Okay, so I'm going to go over a long list of videos that are to come that you can expect to see in the future. The word plan, the word play, the word senior when we talk about age, sick, I already have a video up for sick, toilet and bathroom, we'll talk about those, terms for thank you, neighbor and neighborhood, sorry, school terms, the word delicious, such, enough, best, go out, one woman, like one something, one blah, blah, blah. The terms here and there, a lot of time people say here is and there is when they're talking about or describing a place, but they shouldn't be. The term waiting, wait for, the difference between travel and trip when using it in a sentence. We'll talk about the words pour, should, feeling, sunglasses. Actually, with feeling, that's going to be a long video because there are many emotions that can be discussed, but the main focus of that video will be the word feeling and feel, how that is used. Some very common mistakes are scary and scared, bored and boring, excited and exciting, that type of thing, of like who is the kind of cause and effect. I will do a video on the word hurt, on the word grow, easy, tell versus say, sleep, never. That was fun. I did a little bit of like something kind of weird in Thailand that I videotaped. I was just having fun walking on a tree and it turned into a video about the word never, something you had never done. That's actually very difficult to explain and to understand. Sometimes you still might not understand something after I have explained it in the video. I wish that I could be available to answer everyone's questions, but honestly, I am too busy to get to every question. So I do hope that I am as clear as I can be, and at least you are aware of the fact that that word might cause some confusion for you, or may cause you to make a mistake. So you can start to research it further, or maybe just listen to people using it, native English speakers using those terms, and kind of pick up how to use it and when to use it. Oh God, the word until. So many people make a mistake using the word until, and I have tried to explain the difference between until and by for many, many years. I think I finally figured it out, so I am ready to make a video about that soon, and I will share it with you. I really hope that that video helps you stop saying that, because you can actually cause some big misunderstandings at work or with your friends about that. Also, the difference between should and have to. That's a big one. Should does not mean must. It does not mean have to. A lot of teachers teach that the wrong way, and I hate to say it, but actually is the problem. It's kind of a systemic issue in the system, the education system, and it's cyclic, which means cycle. There's a cycle of teachers learning the wrong way and the wrong use of words, and then they teach that to students. And you learn that. Of course, you think that's the right way because you were taught that is the right way. And I'm not blaming teachers. They learned the wrong way too. It's just misunderstandings. Most of these misunderstandings are very logical. If you break it down and think about, like, why did someone make that mistake, it makes sense. Sometimes the wrong way seems more logical than the right way, which is just the way that is most common and the way native English speakers will say something. So don't blame yourself. I even see in books, sometimes I read in English books that have been published overseas. Obviously, maybe they didn't have a very good proofreader who is a native English speaker, but I see some very common mistakes. Like, one thing I see in a book very often is have, like, do you have blah, blah, blah? And then I see the book teach you to say, yes, I have. English speakers, native English speakers never say it that way. They say, yes, I do. Do you have a pencil? Yes, I do. But that's another video. Let's get back to these videos. The word pretty, that's a fun one that I'm very excited to do. Holiday versus vacation. Today, depends on. About, solo, embarrassed, during, that's another one. It's hard to understand the difference, but I will explain it. Funny versus fun, few versus a few. You don't want to say, I gained my weight, you lost your weight. I'll explain that in a video. The words stress, hurry, wish versus hope, got, do, know, fast, without. That's a very useful video. Care. You shouldn't say don't care about me. You should say don't worry about me. And then finally, we have a lot of videos on prepositions. I'm trying to keep that down to 4 videos so that you don't get too bored, but there are so many things to teach about prepositions. Now, do I teach slang? Well, if that comes up in an interview that I'm doing with someone, I will touch on the slang. Or maybe if I think of some slang that is funny and related to a topic I'm discussing, I will teach you a little slang. Perhaps I will make one video on useful slang someday, but I just have so many other things to teach you and to focus on, so I feel like you can kind of pick up the slang and also idioms. Idioms might be a video. I might teach you some useful idioms one time separately, but I don't have time to focus too much on idioms and slang. But one tip I'd like to give you about that is that anytime you hear something that seems strange, it might just be an idiom or slang. If it seems offensive that somebody's being rude to you, one, assume that it might be a misunderstanding. Don't get upset because somebody said something rude to you. Maybe they didn't mean to be rude. And 2, if they did mean to be rude, again, who cares? Ignore them. Whatever. If you don't get angry at people who are rude to you. Just, if you are sure, 100% sure they're being rude to you, ignore them. Get rid of them. Don't talk to them. If you have to talk to them, just talk to them as necessary. There are some rude people in this world. Don't take it personally. As for pronunciation, Rachel's English is the best. She is a magnificent woman. I met her in New York City, in Manhattan. I call her my friend, even though we only met once. And I always tell people, go to her website, go to her YouTube channels. I will put the information below in the description for Rachel's English, but it's very easy to find, and she is magnificent. I need to show you a few mistakes in pronunciation that could lead to a misunderstanding. So where somebody thinks you're saying a different word, and that could lead to confusion. But Rachel is a master. She actually is a master of music. That's how she started off. She was traveling overseas. I think she was getting her PhD in something related to music. She's just phenomenal with sounds. And while studying overseas, she started to notice patterns and habits of people from certain regions. And she really goes into the details of explaining how you should shape your mouth if you want to pronounce words with the American accent. Now, Rachel and I do not claim that American accent is the best or that you should pronounce your English in the American way. It's just what we are familiar with. So we are American. That's what we teach because that's what we know. As for listening, I always recommend watching TV. Some people actually have learned most of their English from watching TV. People are very surprised. I'm not saying sit down and study it like you would other study materials. I'm just saying make a habit of watching movies or watching TV shows where you're hearing English constantly. Don't trust every single thing you hear to be correct. It might have bad meaning. It's just you'll pick up things that are very common and useful if you make a habit of watching TV. Also, I recommend TED Talks, TED.com. However, that can be very difficult to follow sometimes. Whenever you can watch a lecture and get the script, or even watch some people's YouTube videos and get the script on the side, that would be great. Even if it's your language, you're listening in English and then you're reading in your language or in English, that will be very helpful for you. I'm always saying that you can watch a movie one time with the subtitles and then watch it again without the subtitles. Repetition is key when you're learning any language. So now that I've told you all about the videos that are to come on my channel, I will tell you a little bit about Empire English. It's a small business that I started in New York City in 2011. I was doing freelance tutoring for many years. I had traveled overseas and taught English. I had done a lot of volunteering when I was younger. That's why I say I've been teaching for 20 years, because I've always enjoyed teaching people and helping people. So I was doing some volunteering in university to help people with essay writing and public speaking. With Empire English, I do some consulting and I do help people do business meetings, prepare for business meetings. Maybe they have to give a presentation. Maybe they just have to have one-on-one conversations. I help sometimes prepare for interviews, but most of the time I am focused on my